Hello everyone. So we are going to try out Float Talking Avatar AI.
Hello, everyone. This is a new talking portrait called Float. We've got something pretty fun to play around with for the talking avatar, AI models, and AI frameworks. Previously, we've tried Latent Sync and Sonic, which have a similar concept, using an image as the input and audio-driven lip syncing for talking avatars. This creates facial expressions and lip syncing motions, much like in Latent Sync. We've talked about using videos, any existing videos you have, and then creating lip syncs with your input audios for Float. Here, we're using a similar technique as Sonic, where we input an image and audio and use that audio to drive the facial expressions, matching the flow of the character talking in the video. Now, both Sonic and Float focus on a close-up portrait of the character's face for facial expressions and lip syncing. So, this requires examples like the ones where it's showing a close-up shot of the face, like this, to get good results. If you have a far shot or just a medium shot, and you want to target someone else in that image to talk, well, just like Sonic, it won't be able to create a good performance video. So in this tutorial, we're going to try to install this. I haven't installed this before, and this is the first time I'm running it. We'll see if we can successfully install it together in one go. In ComfyUI Float, we've got this custom node for the Float framework to generate talking avatars, as you can see in this example.
If you plan to go for a run and you don't have enough time to do a full run, do part of a run. If you plan to go to the gym today, but you don't have the full hour that you normally work out, do some push-ups, run up and down the stairs, go out.
So, this will be a 15-second video, and Float is able to generate over 10-second videos easily. The performance is pretty fast, as I saw from their demo. So let's check out if we can do that locally. As you can see, the animations of the avatar talking are pretty smooth in the demo here. We'll try if we can successfully run this in ComfyUI locally, so I'll install this together in this video. First, you'll notice that this ComfyUI custom node isn't listed in the ComfyUI manager. When you go to the manager here and search for it, it doesn't exist. A lot of new custom nodes recently haven't been registered, or somehow the ComfyUI manager has changed its registry database and they require another registry process. So, a lot of developers for these custom nodes haven't updated that information yet, or maybe it's just indie developers who haven't registered in the ComfyUI manager. Therefore, in some cases like this, we have to install it via our command prompt window. So come here, we're in the command prompt window. Stop the ComfyUI server first. Then, go to the Custom Nodes folder. Once you're in the Custom Nodes folder, we're going to copy this text, git clone, and then just the URL of this GitHub project. Then, we come back here and just paste this link. It's a very easy way to do it. Press Enter, and you'll have this installed. Once you install this, go into the folder by doing cd ComfyUI float, accessing this subfolder. You'll be shown here again, and then you do pip install requirements.txt. I'm using a virtual environment with Conda, so I'm already in that Conda environment, as you can see in the brackets. I've explained this many times before, how to set up a virtual environment, so check that out if you missed it. But once I'm in my virtual environment, I can directly run pip install within that environment easily. After doing all this setup, it looks like I've successfully set everything up. Then, we can go back 2 levels of subfolders, back to the main folder of ComfyUI here, and I can run python main.ti to start my ComfyUI again. So let's wait for ComfyUI to start, and it should load the custom nodes. Right here, we've got the import of custom nodes. The ComfyUI flow upload has been successfully imported into the ComfyUI setup, so we can go back into ComfyUI and check it out. Once you've restarted ComfyUI, refresh your ComfyUI interface, come back here, and you'll have the latest setup ready. Let's check out the flow. I should see the right-click menu here. So, here are 2 custom nodes. This custom node pack includes load flow models. When you zoom in here, we've got the float models, and also one more thing, the flow process. So, we've got this tool, exactly as shown in the demo on the GitHub project page. You've got the load flow models and also the flow process. These are the 2 main things you need to get started. And one really convenient thing is that this custom node will auto-download the models for you. The first time you run this, it will download them into the ComfyUI models folder, creating a float subfolder. So we don't have to worry about downloading all those files manually or figuring out where they're stored. This custom node handles it for you the first time you run it. So, let's try something here. For example, the float pipe obviously connects here. I haven't followed what's shown on the GitHub project page. I'm just going by instinct to see how intuitive it feels. Whatever node connections we need, we'll figure out. Of course, here we need the reference image. Now again, this isn't a batch of reference images, it's just a single image. So don't mix it up. We can't input a video or a batch of image frames into this input. So we've got 3 inputs here already. I've got the portrait, a close-up shot of the face, an audio file, and the low model node here. That will help us download it the first time we get started. Let's check something out here. First, by default, the FPS is set to 25, and we've got emotions. This is something really fun to play with. You've got angry, fear, happy, disgust, neutral, sad, and surprised. Let's try something like a happy face this first time. And seed numbers, you've got the random seed number settings as usual, which you can set to whatever number you prefer. Let's try with this number and put it in as a fixed number. This is always something you can adjust here. Also, there's the CFG scale for different types, A, R, and E. Whichever you want to try with different numbers is your preference. Of course, if you set different numbers here, you'll get different effects. So, let's go to the image output here. This is going to show the video frames here, and we'll use the video combined to receive those frames. Here, we've got the frame numbers. Remember to set it to the same number as the FPS. I think the best way to do that is to have one unified variable here. Let's make this a little bracket for memra. Remember this as the FPS value and put that into 25. Then, we connect this number to the FPS here. Okay, so both are float numbers. We should connect them using a flow integer instead. Yeah, we have to use the flow constant instead of an integer. So, go back here, FPS. Here, we've got the float constant. Set this as the FPS, and then we've got this value. Set it up here, then go back here. Remember to set your video format to MP4, that way it'll be better. I don't need to save that because it's just a demo for what I need to try the first time. Moving on to the audio, we'll need this connected as well with my audio. That way we'll have the synchronization of the speaking phase with the audio. So, let's try this out. We've got all the connections here. Hopefully there's no error and things are running smoothly. As you can see in my command prompt window, it's already started downloading the files from Hugging Face. So, this is going to take a moment. It's creating the folder and mirroring those folders into my local directory. Okay, so I'll come back here. We've got the generated result, and we can check out the process here. After downloading, it fetches the steps here within 1 minute. Then, we've finished generating a 13-second video with the audio processing. So, let's check out the full view of this video here. Well, the quality is something like Sonic, but the animations of the face are moving too much when I'm using the happy emotion here. Maybe that's too dramatic of a style. Try setting the emotion to none. That'll be less dramatic. Also, the lips are moving more naturally, which is better than latent sync and the old framework called Live Portrait. Right now, we're seeing that this lip syncing framework is able to handle not only the lips, but also the overall image, animating the motions of the face as well. For example, previously in Sonic, which we demonstrated, and now we've got Flow as well, both models handle the entire face, syncing facial expressions together with the lips. And that's good because the old way with Live Portrait was just masking the region of your lips and doing lip syncing there. Or if you controlled facial expressions using Live Portrait, you had to input parameters for all the eyes and face motions individually. That method had its pros and cons, but this kind of input, image plus audio to generate a video, is handling the whole facial expression smoothly within their framework. And for this, it's basically done. How simple is this workflow? You're able to import your image and audio files and convert them into a close-up live portrait video. What if we want to do something more advanced? Remember, previously we talked about Wan 2.1 VACE, and I did a 5-in-1 workflow where we had outpainting. So I'm going to use a similar concept here, having outpainting for our portrait video. That means you'll have the close-up shot of the face, and then we'll do an outpainting, like a smartphone dimensions video. The dimensions will be similar to you taking a phone and recording someone talking. We can do that as well, or just do landscape dimensions, which will look like a longer form video format. This way, we'll be using outpainting here, similar to the concept using the vase. But I'm not going to use the Wan video wrapper because I've found that the native nodes right now are even running faster than the Wan video wrapper using GGUF. A lot of people love it. If you have a low VRAM computer, you can use that without any problem at all. Therefore, I've used the native node of running WAN 2.1 VACE here using this group, and I've made modifications based on that. Previous examples of native nodes using WAN 2.1 VACE had very flexible inputs. With these 3 input parameters for the vase, we've got 9 combinations so far. I've tested with these 3 parameter inputs for making video edits using this AI model. This time we're doing outpainting, so we'll need the padded area for our upcoming video. With the vase, we can use the cause video and also the vase 14B. These are the models we're obviously going to use for our videos. Here, you've got multi-GPU options. Again, I've explained those before. Moving on to here, let's test the padded area after we expand those places of our generated result here. We've got the expanded area for preview, and these dimensions aren't going to work well for our WAN 2.1 video generation. Therefore, we have to resize the area of the portrait. So we have to add an image resize like this, and then calculate the width and height based on WAN 2.1 with a portrait ratio of the width and height here. Then, we've got the size of the generated result using these two, and we're able to have those results and make the padded area. Let's try this way before we start our sampling steps. One more thing, remember to connect back to the image path custom nodes, or you can use either way to adjust your width and height dimensions here. What I like to do is use a set ratio like this. That'll be easier for us to try in our next steps. The frame padding here, as you can see, is 400 something when we generate from the audios. Well, we can't run everything in one video generation with the WAN 2.1 phase here. So we might take multiple batches of generations. Whichever works, you can try that or make even shorter audios for your generated talking avatar output in the first steps. Then, you bring that here. This way, you'll need to trim that to trim the audios to make that happen. So, for example, here I don't take the single image preview. I use the video combine as a preview here. You'll see that over all of this white area, we'll be doing the next steps, which is getting the Wan VACE sampling here to process. So we'll be using part of this generation because, of course, again, we don't have 439 frames to process in one batch with your local computer. The thing we'll do is get our images here and trim the length. Let's say your set of frame numbers length, using this generate batch, like 81 frames for each batch to create here. So here, I've set another get image size count to redirect the new width and height. Then, I set my limited frame numbers as 81, mostly the standard number for WAN 2.1. So we'll be using a portion of the talking from the audio to make this outpainting. Let's try out this result first. Okay. So, moving on to our generations here, we've generated 81 frames, and the processing, I've put that FPS and audio in as well. Our final generation here looks pretty cool. We've got some interactions on the hands as well. Once we've done the outpainting and used the vase to make it look more natural, like body language when someone's talking, I've used just a female character talking on a live stream video. So, this looks more natural, like when you're explaining something. Let's check out how that looks overall in the video.
Lip syncing is like karaoke, but without the pressure of.
So as you can see, it's able to do it. But then, the frame is kind of short in some ways, but I've tried it. If you've got enough VRAM, GPU, or RAM, you can allocate more VRAM here using multi-GPU, and it works well on my NVIDIA 4090, just like what it described in the example workflows previously. I've tried that as well, using even more frames. So for example, I'll go for like 200 frames before using the control net reference. It works, but let's see if we can do that for our outpainting as well. So here, we've got our 200 frame generation here. This time, it's more steady, and it doesn't have any other items in front of the camera compared to my previous generation. Let's check out how that performs in our generation time. So here in the command prompt window, we've got 24 gigabytes in CUDA and then the CPU, which is the RAM. I've got 64 gigabytes of RAM. I allocated 16 gigabytes of RAM as additional RAM for CUDA running. Then I did 9 minutes of generation for the 200 frames, allocating the additional 16 gigabytes of VRAM from your RAM and using that to make this happen. This way, we can generate a longer length of video like this one. So let's check it out. How long is that?
Lip syncing is like karaoke, but without the pressure of hitting the right notes. Let's see if I can keep up.
It's actually 7 seconds in length with the FPS of 25 here in the settings. I've grouped that as well and made this one less cluttered. Put this one as a group so it's easier to manage. So let's say this is for the video pad mask, and then we're doing this one as the video path features to make this more organized here. So once that's running, and then we've got the outpainting of the area again, we'll have a talking avatar like this. That's so far what we've got using crossover AI models. We've used the Wan V8 to utilize the features of outpainting, and we're also using the Flow Talking Avatar framework to animate our image as a talking avatar in a more live action style video. The timing for the lips is good in that Float AI workflow and AI framework here. Then overall, we're able to create a portrait using smartphone dimensions for this video creation here. So that's it for this video, a very simple way of integrating multiple AI models together in a workflow. I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a nice day. See ya.